Welcome back to Big Brother Rewind. This is Sean,
And this is Chris.
and we're here to talk about week 10 inside the Big Brother house, Big Brother season 24. It's almost done. Almost done.
Almost there. There'll be no more rewinding.
Yeah. I wish I could fast forward through the next few episodes.
Wow, tell us how you really think.
But we're Dadnarok. We cover Big Brother each and every week, and we do a ton of other stuff too. We have a Big Brother after show, or not a Big Brother after show, a Dadnarok after show that we do every Sunday morning. Right now, we're covering the new Game of Thrones show, the new Lord of the Rings show, Welcome to Wrexham, and in a couple weeks, well, actually next week, we'll be covering Andor starting up on Disney Plus.
It's getting crowded. All this good
Yeah.
stuff's out there. So if you like any of that, join us. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It's 10:30 in the morning on a Sunday. If you want to make sure you don't miss us, hit the bell. Have your football prep and watch us.
That's it. So, should we jump into this week's Big Brother?
Let's go for it.
All right, let's dive into the pool here. So they start out the week Sunday show just kind of doing a little bit of, they always do this post double eviction where they give you a little bit more context, a little bit more behind the scenes. They show a little bit more of Michael freaking out.
I like the conversation that they showed all the conversations that took place. I didn't know. I thought that was cool. They showed us that he knew it was coming because they told him it was going to happen. It wasn't just like a boom.
Right. So, give you a little more context about what happened. That's always fun to watch. Afterwards, this is kind of post that eviction show. They're all just kind of decompressing. Monty leads the group. He's like, I know it was a very difficult night. And, he's already taken a leadership role before he even gets out of household.
She's distressed. She's just holding her neck like, oh my God, what just happened?
Yeah, the body language is present for sure. Even and Brittany's upset too because of what Michael, said about her as he was leaving. It was just not a great night for them.
Yeah, no, not at all. They absolutely needed a bag of chips and some adult drinks.
Yeah, they did. But what they got instead was a very scary head of household competition. It was, in the
if I
dark.
would have done well with this. I think I may have freaked out. Like, I'm not claustrophobic. I'm not scared of the dark. But if I'm in the dark, putting my hand in goo, and I would have had a very bad time at this.
Would you have pulled a Taylor and completely noped out of it?
I don't think I would have been mentally. There would have been a part of me that would I have to push this. I have to give it my best, because if I don't, I'm gonna regret it later. So if I come up with a bad time, I give them a bad time. But
this far in the competition, I was so disappointed in Taylor for not being able to push yourself through this. At this point in the competition, you have to win.
Yeah. I think she doesn't have to win.
Not now. The way things have shaken out, yeah, you're right. But
even the position she was in at this point of the game, I don't think she had to win. She knew she didn't have to win. So she knew she can bail out and not be concerned.
I guess you're right. She felt secure enough to quit a competition. But when that happened and I was kind of disgusted. I was like, oh, I don't want Taylor to win anymore.
Yeah,
just because she's scared of the dark. Yeah. Oh, she's scared of the boogeyman in the dark in Burbank or wherever they are.
And a little
it's not an actual basement with an actual killer after you. You're on Big Brother. Just suck it up, Buttercup. I had to get Brittany crawling over a toilet here. That was funny.
The full straddle too.
Brittany, you're facing the wrong way. That's not how you use the toilet. Anyway, YouTube would probably take us off.
I mean, I pretty much said I probably wouldn't have done well with this. How would you have panned out?
I mean, the hardest thing is just trying to find things in the dark, feeling your way around. I mean, Taylor noped out because she was scared or whatever, and they were but goop and slime and basically what you're doing is just trying to put your hands everywhere to try to feel out for these 2x4s or whatever they were looking for, Oh, the other thing was Alyssa. She lost track of how many doors she got.
Oh, she was buzzing through it. She was going.
She
quick.
was. And she would have won.
She spaced.
She did.
She completely spaced out, and she's like, I was going for speed and just getting it done, and then lost count of what she's done already.
This is how the competition ends up shaking out. Taylor
This
gets
was
60 minutes.
heartbreaking. Oh
It
my
was.
god, I wanted Brittany to win this so bad because
Mhm.
the house would have been upside down. The level of scrambling that would have been happening right then and there,
Yeah.
if she won, would have been phenomenal.
A matter of 9 seconds between Monty and Brittany, but, Monty pulls through. He's head of household, and, this is who he ends up putting up for the week. This is another thing that annoyed me about Sunday night's episode annoyed me because, like, in my opinion, in Monty's position in the game, when there's this few people left in the game, they're down to a top 5, you have to start thinking about, "Who am I gonna sit next to
Yeah,
in finale?"
endgame.
Yeah. Um, if he sits next to Brittany in a top, the
He
top 2,
wins.
I think he wins it hands down. If he sits next to Alyssa, he
He
wins hands
wins.
down. He sits next to Taylor, probably Taylor's gonna win. He sits next to Turner, that's kind of a toss-up. It's
I
kind
think
of
he loses
fifty-fifty.
hands down against Turner, and I think it's a split vote against with Taylor. So I think they'll give her credit for persevering
Yeah.
through a lot of the game, and then getting at last. She's got a veto and a HOH under her belt, doesn't she? Does she have both?
Yeah, that's why I think it's a hands down Taylor. Like, so both of them. Basically, the point is the 2
He
people that
loses
he can
against the
absolutely
people. Yeah,
slam dunk a win against, he puts up on the block.
yeah. No, he's not. I've I we all know why he didn't put Taylor up. I mean,
Yeah,
his bed's warm now. Uh, but I mean, your buddy, just because he's your buddy and you've been a buddy with him from game one, no.
right.
Turner told Alyssa later in this episode, he's playing the game. Friends are outside.
Yeah,
You got to think that way. And that's kind of why I've been on Turner. Like, Turner's going to win this from a long while back. I've been calling Turner.
right. Yeah, we get that later this week, a little bit of that from Turner towards Alyssa, and, you're right, I was like, I was loving it, frankly, like, "Alyssa, you're a nice girl and all, but it's like, you guys are playing a game for some
Is he
serious
the only
cash."
one playing to win?
He might be, yeah. So, I think as far as who I want to win at this point, I want Turner and maybe Taylor as a second, and everyone else, I'm like, I don't really care."
I wouldn't
Um,
mind seeing Brittany win. And the reason I would not mind seeing Brittany win is because her game was gone. As soon as
yeah,
Michael walked out that door, she was an easy target.
right.
And when she had to win to stay, she won the stay. She hasn't done much, but when she had no choice in the matter, she won. She put in a hell of an effort in that HOH competition where she lost by 9 seconds.
Yeah.
And later in this episode, she put a hell of a effort into the veto. So she
Yep,
is giving it all. She's not
she
rolling
is.
over.
She's in a tight spot because she knows she's not wanted there, and, she is hanging in there. It's pretty impressive, and then later, all of them kinda talk about what they do to the money, and her reasoning kind of, pulled at my heartstrings a bit too. So, you're
Yeah.
right, I'd be fine with the Britney win also. And this is the point where they actually start talking about what they do. We're at the end game here where they're like, "What are you gonna do?" And this is actually kinda almost part of the game itself. Like, you want if you're just like so like cavalier about it, well, like I don't actually need the money and it's just, I'm here to play the game and I think it would be cool to win the money, but like or you could say like, this would be life changing for me. I'm
Yeah.
going to be able to do this and take care of my mom here and adopt here. Like you start giving people reasons to vote for you instead of the other guy, you
Yeah. It's
know?
like, I'm going to Barbados. No. You know
Right.
what I mean? What are you
Yeah.
truly going to do with it? Side note, I haven't seen a Chinese checkers board in forever. It's just sitting on the bed.
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious.
They've probably got access to a ton of board games in there.
Oh,
They
yeah. I
must.
mean, they're probably bored out of their mind with them by now, but
Let's see. I don't remember hearing what Taylor said she wanted to do. I remember Monty said something about giving it to his family, helping start a business, I think.
I think Turner wanted her mom to retire.
Yeah, Turner
Like
was
she
wanted
wanted
to
to be
help
able to, yeah, just say, "Okay, mom,
mom.
yeah, you're done, you're good, I got you," type situation.
And then separately, Alyssa and Brittany are kind of having the same conversation. Alyssa saying how much, how life changing it would be. She could help her mom retire.
Or
And
maybe it
Brittany
was
brought up,
okay. I'm maybe getting conversations mixed up.
yeah, I think Turner's was similar though. He did say he would give most of it to his mom. I do remember him saying that. But Brittany, she talks about, this issue that she has with bearing children and the struggle that she's had with her and her husband to try to get that done. And I think, helping towards medical. And if that didn't work out, then using a lot of those funds towards adoption, which I'm all
Yeah.
for.
And that on a
Um,
side note, it should not take you winning $750,000 to be able to
I
adopt
know
a child. I
that's
mean, that's a
just
whole
like,
different side rant, but
yeah,
that I
that's
mean
a
that
rant about our system.
yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
just the fact that that's what she wants to do. She's not looking to change her life,
right.
as in like financially. She's not looking to change anyone else's. She's trying to, bring life into the world or bring a child that doesn't have a parent into
Yeah.
theirs. And it's just, I don't know. It makes it easier to pull for her now.
Yeah, using that money to, like, create her family is like, yeah, I can get behind that for
And
sure.
honestly, and I think just her ambition of wanting to win for that reason, I think when she's out of the house, she's going to find that opportunities open to her that weren't open prior.
Yeah, yeah, so I'm glad that they had this segment on the show to kinda get that out there, so hopefully, if she doesn't end up being the winner, then she finds avenues to, you know, uh, complete what she's envisioning for a family, so that
Yeah.
would be good. Um, Going forward, so all the house guests, they get woken up in the middle of the night for the, veto competition. And this was kinda mean. But
This
to
was
be fair, their sleeping hours are apparently pretty off. Like, they've been going to sleep at, like, 8 a.m., waking up at 2 p.m. So who knows? Maybe the veto competition was at, like, 9 or 10 in the morning, and they're just, like, freaking out because that's the middle of the night for them.
well, I think a few of their sleeping patterns are off, and a couple of them are normal. I
Mhm.
think we got some midnight orgies happening now.
Really? Did you watch some other live feed that I'm not aware
It
of?
was the fun one, the one that you have some drinks with.
Oh, you are having your Long Island. Okay, I understand now. Oh, this was kind of brutal. I'd never seen this on Big Brother before. So they basically, wake him up in the middle of the night and they give him a time limit to get down to the backyard, and Monty doesn't make it.
I'm so glad that there was an actual like consequence
Yeah,
for not getting it. They said you got 2 minutes,
right,
and they were saying there was a consequence, but they weren't saying what it was.
right,
And they showed him get up, mosey into his bathroom. I've got a routine. I've got to, do I got to do my face and whatever he was doing.
right.
And he gets out there and it's late and he's
Yep.
disqualified. I love that. And
Yeah,
Turner was pissed.
yeah. And it was like the unbearable concept. It wasn't even just like, well, you get a little handicap during the competition or whatever. It was like, no, you don't get to play.
Yeah. And it's essentially the same thing you were saying about Taylor earlier in the head of household one.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, you have 2 minutes. Just get up. You're not sleeping naked. I mean, come on, you're in the Big Brother house.
Right.
If worse comes to worse, run out there in what you're wearing just to be able to, participate.
Yeah.
And he didn't. And he acts like he's all tired and bent over and like I ran 10 miles to get here.
Sure.
No.
I know, that's why Monty made some, like, mistakes with me personally, where I'm just like, "Nah, he's on the bottom rung as far as who I wanna see win, honestly." Okay, so here's the actual competition itself. It was pretty unique competition, I've never seen one like this, it's a puzzle one, but very unique as far as getting the right gears in the right spots to actually get them all to turn and get
God, they're
the
so lucky
grandfather
they got
clock
Michael
going.
out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Michael would've won this hands down, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah. And half
Yeah.
the time.
But yeah, they kind of all go through it. Speaking of Michael, Brittany wins and she calls out, "This is for you, Michael," even after what he did.
Yeah, I'm with Turner. I don't quite get that. I
Yeah,
mean, I guess she's had time to realize, it was just gameplay 100% trying to stay.
yeah,
It still hurt, but it was gameplay. But I don't understand why it's for Michael.
yeah. Let it be for you. It's okay if it's for you. You need it. Doesn't have to
Yeah,
be for
right.
Michael.
You should be
Yeah,
proud of that win.
yeah. He can't hear you. He's in the jury house.
Before we go any further with Michael, guys, if you're watching this for the first time, thanks for joining us. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Become a part of the community here with us. We're doing the Big Brother Rewind here weekly until we're finished with the actual season. We got a ton of other content. We do the Dadnarok after show. That is on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's covering Lord of the Rings, House of the Dragon, Welcome to Wrexham, Andor's coming. You name the show, we're probably going to be talking about it in some capacity during that period of time. So join us 10 a.m. live. All our shows are interactive. So if you got something to say, let us know. We'll bring it up live. But I think we need to talk more about Brittany here. What do you think?
Yeah, Brittany. So afterwards, she gets the win, right? She wins the power veto, big win for her. But immediately, well, not immediately. I don't know. Maybe later that night, or not. They all go back to bed. It was the middle of the night, but anyway, later she goes up to visit Monty.
No, Monty went back to bed. Nobody else did
Oh, that's true.
because
Everybody else
remember
was still playing. Yeah,
Turner
talking
wanted to go
game.
up and talk to him,
Yeah,
and he just wasn't answering the door because he was sleeping. And he was mad.
yeah, he was. Um, Brittany does eventually get to him, and she starts talking about like basically she's emphasizing that he should be really putting up Turner in her
Hmm.
place, which makes total sense for her game. She's trying to convince him that it makes sense for his game, but he feels as though this is like almost like demeaning, like you're trying to tell me like what's good for my. I know what to do. I know what's good for my game.
Turner Taylor was telling the same thing,
Yeah,
and his response was, "If you want it to happen, you need to win." Now, granted, if she would have won, he would have had no choice in the matter.
right.
There'd have been no other way around it.
Yeah.
But seeing that Brittany won, she can pull herself off, and he can do what he wants, and that's essentially what he did.
What do you think Taylor would have done if she would have won the veto? Do you think she would have kept it the same?
No,
Do you think
I
she would have
I,
pulled
I
Brittany
am
off?
100% positive that she would have pulled Brittany off. They would have put Turner up in his place because she had no choice, and then they would have picked who went home.
She would have played her cards then, huh? I
Yes,
think
I
because right
think
now
she
I
would.
think she's playing a balancing act where all the guys think that they're good with her, and Brittany thinks that she's good with her, and I don't even kind of am 100% confident ultimately which way she's going to fall. But you think for sure she's more loyal to Brittany
I
than
think
Monty
she
and
would have pulled the
Turner.
trigger, and
Yeah.
Turner would have been gone, and her alliance would have been with the girls. And Monty's absolutely right.
Hmm.
He would have been next because she emphasized on more than one occasion on how three women have never made it to the end.
Yeah.
Also, how she wants to be the first woman of color to make the end.
Right.
The only way she can do that is making sure she gets rid of Monty and gets rid of Turner, and she would have the strongest argument to win
Yeah.
amongst those three. So I no doubt in my mind, she's been playing the game in that manner that she would have sat back by those three or those two. The women would have stuck together.
So ultimately he does put Taylor up in Brittany's place after Brittany takes herself off the block. And this is who we have as the on the chopping block for the rest of the week. Alyssa, I feel like was just kind of a deer in headlights all week. She was just I don't know if she just knew that her game was over and she was waiting to go or what, but felt like she was not doing great. But I
What
mean,
do
to
you
be
think
fair,
of
the
the
whole week she was like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's been tactics played in this season that I haven't seen in the past, and I look at them like, man, this seems like season one or season two, like amateur hour. When they
Yeah,
go up to the head of household and they threaten him, they try to
right.
threaten the person to get their way. I'm like, if you're such big fans of this show,
Yeah.
when have you seen that work in the past?
I
It
know
never
Brittany
works.
Brittany was feeling herself as far as having the confidence to do that, I guess, after that win. She felt, well, we're just coming towards, the end and I just gonna put it out there. So I don't know. But I'm in agreement with you. Like you still have to tiptoe around and make the head of household think that, that what you're saying is their own natural thought process. You know what I mean? Like there's a way to
Yeah.
talk to people without coming across as you're just telling them what to do.
Yep. And she was telling, and yeah, here's what I was talking about earlier.
What?
Um,
What were you talking
He's
about
got a warm
earlier?
bed. I know I mentioned earlier like how Monty's got a warm bed now. So
Yeah.
it's I don't I don't
He's a
know.
big
I
old
think
warm Papa Bear. Get in there,
she likes
Taylor.
to be hunted.
Yeah.
I
This is
think
this is
he's
before it got hot and heavy. This is fairly tame. This is just
yes.
snuggling.
The head of household's thinking with the wrong
Yeah.
So I mean, but then again, he's sleeping in bed with her. Was it Alyssa was up there at one point. They had like four people in this bed at once. I'm like, what kind of what okay. What
They've all
kind
gotten
of,
close.
Game of
Hey, it's Big Brother.
Thrones thing is going on right now?
Do you think okay, so serious question. We get from Taylor, oh, I'm just starting to notice Monty for the first time. Oh, his legs are like tree trunks, and for kind of throwing like a little bit of flirtation here and there. Do you think this is more that or more game related? Do you think she's like setting herself up to making sure she's good for the week?
That's complicated. I think it's really
Yeah,
complicated because it's one of those things. Her and Joseph were really tight. They really
right.
enjoyed being with each other. Monty was
Yeah,
there the whole time. So then Joseph winds up going, and she doesn't now have that like connection with anybody. And now they've been in there for so long.
yeah, yeah,
It's almost a version of beer goggles if you think about it. I haven't had it forever. I found somebody that I don't hate. Why
yeah.
not?
And Monty's not an unattractive man. I
No,
guess
not
what
by
I'm
any
saying
means. And he
is
seems
like,
like a good dude too. But I mean,
yeah,
if
and
this
also
attraction was there, it
this
would
is
have been
no
there from the
judgment.
beginning.
This is no judgment from me on Taylor's part either. Like, even if she was like internally saying like, "Well, let me get in good with Monty this week, so I'm safe." Even if that is the case, which I don't really think that's the case, but even if it was, I'm fine with that. Get that money.
Yeah, right. So
At
for
this point in
seven
the
hundred
game,
fifty thousand.
do what you got to do to stay in that house. But yeah, I think maybe there might have been some part of that in there, but yeah, ultimately, I think it's more of what you're saying. Like they're just needing snuggles.
They just need a warm body next to him in there, and it'll be
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Poor
Um,
Joseph.
poor Joseph, especially who he stuck with in the jury house too.
Oh man, one bad living
Um,
condition to the other. I love that line.
oh yeah. So this is when they both get interrupted mid
That
whatever
was
they were
funny.
doing.
When
Yeah,
she walked in, hit the lights, walked in, and it was like, yeah, it's 2 p.m. It's talking
right.
to him. And then they played off like Turner's in the room.
Yeah.
Come on, you might as well have had a sock hanging on the door. Let's be real.
I know, like, Alyssa and I didn't here's the funny part is I don't think the house really knows what's going on between these 2. Like, they're keeping it down low, but it's like, "Alyssa, you just walk in there, it was totally dark in there. They're, like, both in the same bed, and there's nobody else in there." Like, you gotta put 2 and 2 together there, Alyssa.
Yeah, right.
Well,
I
whatever.
would hope she played. Yeah, she did. She's playing dumb when she was in there for the cameras, but
Right.
realize what's happening. I mean, I hope so. I,
I think, oh, here's where I cut to Brittany.
oh,
All right. So Brittany had a tough week too. Even though she won the veto, she was in a good spot. She's just feeling the pressure because this is the first week really that she's kind of played without Michael. She's had to lean on Michael this entire game. She feels alone because of that and for the fact that like she was already put up on the block and she's only safe because she took herself off.
yeah.
And she can sense Taylor gravitating towards Monty and you
Well, it's
know,
also the conversation that was being had without her in it.
yeah,
They were laughing about the whole double eviction week that took place,
right.
and it was that's still such a fresh wound with her
Yeah.
that it just cut deeper. And I don't think anyone would have meant it that way. It's just it's like I said, still fresh. And then she's the whole "this is for you, Michael" thing that didn't help during the veto.
I
So
know, I think even her emotions are kinda confused on the whole thing too, because it's like she's hot and cold. She's like, "How dare he do this?" But also, "Here's for you, Michael," and she's, like, super upset, but not, and she's just kinda going through, some rough times this week.
having a
Yeah,
rough go at it.
and she has a conversation with, Alyssa during this time too, where she says, like so basically, it's kind of Alyssa thinks it's in Brittany's hands because Alyssa feels safe that Turner is a vote for her to stay. So Alyssa's going to Brittany like, "Hey, can I get your vote to stay?" But Brittany's telling her like, "Hey, it ain't up to me. You're gonna have to
Yeah,
convince Turner." Which is kind of a shock for Alyssa because she thinks she's safe with Turner.
she thinks she has Turner's vote,
Yeah.
but she's
Um,
like, yeah, no, I've gotten absolutely zero say in what's going on this week.
yeah, and because of that conversation she has with Brittany, she goes to Turner, and Turner doesn't do a very good job alleviating her worries.
No, you know what? In his favor,
Yeah.
he didn't lie at all.
He didn't.
He
No.
basically told her what he was going to do. If she heard it, it's one thing, but he told her what he's doing. And I
She
think that's why
also
she
came
just
about
became
it
resigned.
she also came about it in a way that I didn't care for either, where she was like, "If you vote me out of
All
here
the
without telling me, I am
waterworks
not
and
gonna be your friend." Yeah.
oh, that's Yeah, no, that was the way she started crying because everyone in their world knew it was fake tears, and then the threat about not being friends. I mean, yeah, come on.
I don't know if it was fake tears because later when she's talking to Julie, she had some real tears going, but I think she was there was no dividing line between the game and her feelings for these people. You know what I mean? Like there's the game that we're playing and I have to compartmentalize that and there's my relationship with you once we're all done this whole thing. And she's those two things are kind of merged for her, especially and I can't really blame her because she spent all that time getting so close with Kyle and stuff and then all that stuff went down. So I can see where she's coming from and but if she truly knows this game and is, used to watch it with her mother and stuff, like
Yeah.
I feel like she should have a better understanding of how this should be going.
Well, I mean, it tells you a lot about the people themselves. If they can't compartmentalize,
Yeah.
it's that's exactly what they are. They can't separate things from one from another, and that's what I mean. That's really basically. And I don't believe that with her. I
Oh,
believe that
no.
was 100% an act to
Okay.
try to sway, to use the friendship that they've built over this 10 weeks
Yeah.
to get him to get. I was like, I told Janessa, my wife, so you know what? If she convinces him to give her a pity vote, Alyssa should win the game. I said right there and that I want Alyssa to win the game 100%
Yeah.
if she can convince Turner for a pity vote, knowing what Brittany was going to do,
Right.
because that would have taken it completely out of Monty's hands.
Yeah.
And I was pulling for her so hard. I was like, pity vote. Come on, give her that pity vote.
That would be a great move if that would have worked, but it didn't. And Turner, even in the diary room later, he was like, pretty much like, how dare she? So it didn't end up working out. This is what we end up getting. We go back to the live show here. Alyssa got one vote to stay from Brittany and one vote to go from Turner. You would have thought it probably would have been the opposite with those two, but that's how it worked out this week. They put it in Monty's hands, and he ultimately, evicts Alyssa. What do you think?
Let me guess. Alyssa?
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't. It's been a while. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, he gets rid of Alyssa. Here she is.
I think the
Um,
bigger move here would have been
yeah.
if he got rid of Turner, Taylor.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
The bigger move there would have been Taylor. If he would have been this out of the blue, got Taylor out, he would have still had Turner. Turner still would have been his, I guess, his shield.
Mhm.
I, I don't know. I just the gameplay at
That's
this level
absolutely what he
seemed
should have done. This is a layup, and you go the whole season they've been going for the bigger target until they get to the end, and then they're just doing the layups. Like, what does getting rid of Alyssa at this point do for you at all? Like, besides
nothing.
just keep
It
people
hurts your
that you
chances.
like. Yeah, he's closer to Taylor and he's closer to Turner, so that he wants to keep them for another couple weeks. You guys are only in the house for another like 2 weeks at most, less than
Yeah,
that. Like, come on, guys.
they're
Uh,
more worried about the social game now than the money.
yeah, yeah.
So
He,
yeah, yeah.
I,
No, there's a lot of missteps this week. That I mean, after that big double eviction night
yeah,
on how successful that was,
right.
and now you have this that follows it up. It's very disappointing.
I would. You're right. If that moment where it was his hands and he said and he actually turns to Taylor and says, "Taylor, I'm sorry, but like that would have been a huge move. That would have been a boom."
Yeah, and that would have been something he could have put on his resume to win.
Yeah,
But getting rid of Alyssa is not a resume builder.
it's not at all. It's anyway disappointing for Monty's game in my opinion. Then we get the head of household
In that outfit,
competition.
she absolutely looks her age. I mean, she looks gorgeous in some of the other outfits. That one there, she looks like a grandma, like one of those younger, you know,
Yeah,
grandmas.
hip hip.
That's yeah, one
Yeah.
of the gilfs. Uh,
Well, you really have had your Long Island tonight, haven't you? You're in rare form.
just a few.
Okay, so yeah, this is a big, long, awkward TikTok dance from Julie.
It looked like she had a blast. It looked like she had so much fun doing it.
Oh yeah, looks like she was having fun. I wasn't having fun watching it, but it was a lot of fun for her. It was great.
I was just watching. See, I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to keep track of anything. I don't even care. There's nothing. I stopped trying to do that a while back when it came to like the lasers and that one. I'm like,
Do you think we should? You think we'd get more viewers if we did little like TikTok chair dances in our chairs?
I think we would have people turn us off. They don't
If
need
you're
to see
watching, please don't
these
go away. I'll
middle-aged
stop
white
dancing.
guys dancing.
Yeah.
And the f
Um. So ultimately, at the end of that competition, where they're like, "Oh, Julie was she wearing the purple dress during this or whatever?" That's how it went. Taylor and Brittany end up tying. This was a close game between the three of these guys.
yeah.
They all put the effort in. And then it came to a tiebreaker, which it's Price is Right rules, and Brittany went over, so she was disqualified. Which
Man,
means
yeah,
Taylor had a household.
and Monty and Turner are both so smug
Yeah.
during when they're talking. It's like and the funny thing is, they're really smug. I would not put it past Taylor to take her shot. I would not be shocked if she put up both the guys.
Is that what you think she's gonna end up doing?
I think that's what she's gonna do. I think she's gonna put up both guys and make them win the veto if they want to come down. And then it'll be up to Brittany and Brittany's hands on who goes home.
Yeah, and the way she can frame that too is like, hey, I want to ensure that Brittany goes home. I don't want her to, basically trying to backdoor her or something.
But
You
does
know what
the
I mean?
back door work anymore at this time in the game? It really doesn't.
I guess not. No, it's not as effective, especially with this few people. But I don't know. You're right. Like I look, I'm hoping that's what she does. I'm not convinced. Like she's been straddling the line here between the two sides of this house, between the boys and staying loyal to Brittany these last few weeks. And like, I'm not convinced that she keeps. That's what I hope she does because
I
I think she needs to sit next to Brittany at the end. But
I believe there's something to her wanting to have two women at the end.
yeah,
And I think she would I really believe her when it comes to that. Now who she wants to go
hmm
out of Monty or Turner, that's the question. And I think if she puts them both up and Brittany's with her and they both say, okay, this is who's going, and
right,
it's a collaborative thing, I think it works. It's up to Brittany now. Brittany's got to work that angle.
yeah,
Like us two at the end, two women, first woman of color, the whole thing.
yeah.
The thing that she's been kind of, preaching on the whole way. If she can work that and actually convince her this is what we need to do now. This is it. If we don't do it now, we're done.
Taylor has the best story of this house as far as what she's had to
Just
struggle
persevere.
against. Yeah, like, as far as who should win the game, Taylor has the most convincing story of, like, why she deserves the money and why she played the best game or whatever. Ha
Gameplay
hands down.
in competitions and everything, Turner.
Yeah,
Gameplay, well, I mean, I said gameplay as in competitions, Turner. But
yeah.
as in social and competitions, I think Taylor hands down wins it.
Yeah, that would be tough for me. If that ultimately is how it shakes out, between Turner and Taylor, I think I would like to see Taylor win because of, the reasons that they say, as far as, just, women there haven't been a lot of women, who won the game and, other
How
factors, but,
about
like,
this? Would the jury give Turner the win over Taylor because he's the one that stuck his neck out for her at the beginning when she was being bullied? Would that give him extra, like, credit essentially?
it did. I mean, the leftovers did form on his HOH, so I think that's a feather that he can put in his cap. He could at least cite that. Being a viewer see, I don't know, it's different, like, um, the point of view that you have when you're inside the house might be a bit different than what we see as viewers from the outside looking in, right? Because you and me, we see Turner and we like, this guy has laid so low and played it so cool and has not been on anybody's radar. Like nobody was targeting Taylor. Like that's why I think he should win is because he went through this entire season without anybody getting mad at him or wanting to target him or seeing him as a threat. Like that's the to me, that's a perfect Big Brother
But
game.
isn't that a floater as well? I mean, isn't that something you can
No, no, because a floater is gonna eventually be on somebody's radar. I think a floater like will go from like side of the house to side of the house, like and
but
be like a
I would say you
number.
can float in your own alliance as well. As long as you're at the bottom, of a powerful alliance, and you don't have to worry about being the one that pulls the trigger on anything,
I don't
even
know.
when
I'll
he's
leave it
in
up to you
power.
guys. As far as it, do you think Turner had a floater game or not? Give us the definition of a floater. I don't think so because he was kind of equally balanced throughout the entire house. But maybe you guys think
I
different.
mean, he's the one I've been calling for a while that would actually win. So
Yeah,
uh, if he won, I wouldn't be shocked. But I think at this point, I think I want Brittany to win. I
yeah.
think Turner will win, and I would not be unhappy if Taylor won. I don't think I want Monty to win. He's the only one I would say I don't want to win.
I am with you. I'm in agreement. We might. I think our top three are probably in agreement there. So that's it for week 10 of Big Brother. Coming up this week, we're actually down to only two shows for week 11. They're not going to have a Wednesday show, I
Yeah,
believe.
that darn NFL.
Yeah, something's going on. But anyway, there's not a lot left to do, honestly. This is kind of one of those weeks where as we get closer and closer. And then so basically we got the rest of this week and then it's going to be finale following that.
There we
So
go.
we're going to be here to discuss week 11 and then the finale afterwards. Guys, if you like our content, be sure to subscribe to the page if you haven't already. As we mentioned a couple times already, we have the Dad and Rock after show we do each and every Sunday morning, talking about a lot of cool stuff that's on TV and streaming right now. Andor's coming up this week on Disney Plus. If you guys are excited about that, Chris and I are definitely excited. We're big Star Wars nerds. And then we do trailer reactions too. So if there's a big trailer that comes out, recently we covered D23 and they had a bunch of stuff come out. We sat here and covered and recapped and reviewed. I don't know, maybe it was like 7, 8 different
Something
trailers.
like that. And you're going to get our real reaction. If we like it,
Yeah.
we're going to glow about it. If we don't like it, we're just going to be, we're
Yep.
not going to like it.
But beyond that, like I said, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to do so.
There we go. And like we always say at this time, expect the unexpected.
See ya.